I just spent a little bit over a week in Istanbul, Turkey with my wife, where she was getting surgery for cosmetic and also medical reasons, primarily medical, and I was there to document it, as well as to enjoy the city, and of course, once my wife recovered a little bit, I took her out to show her some of the city, and get a little more footage for the documentary. In this video, I'll be using that experience to talk to you about how to make a documentary abroad, and I'll show you how to tap into the local filmmaking market in order to really make that more of a possibility instead of just a dream. So I'll show you what a professional does in order to ensure the highest level of filmmaking while they're there, and then also out into the future to get those shots that you know you're gonna miss. And I'll help you avoid the #1 nightmare that every filmmaker tries to avoid: missing the shot. Welcome to the Six Park Productions YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the follow button for notifications when we post. Also check out our Instagram where we put a lot of our commercial work as well as other teasers. Turkey was a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be back. In fact, everyone that I interviewed said they'll be back as well. I want to go to see Cappadocia and to see Göbekli Tepe, where they have an ancient civilization that I think was started by aliens. So leave a comment if you have any other things you'd want to see in Turkey, and I'll make sure to capture it the next time I'm there. First things first, there are a couple of small items that every person, not just filmmaker, will want to get right when they go to another country. One, you want to make sure what type of food you're going to be eating. Whether that means the local food or bringing something from home, you should really be aware of that before you touch down, especially if you're going to a country that you don't know the language in. If you're going to do that, look it up ahead of time. Don't just trust Google Translate and Wi-Fi and all those other services. Make sure to find your plan for food, at least for a few days. Something to fall back on, something to keep you alive, just in case you really don't like the local cuisine. This is something that has saved me countless times, especially after showing up in some Asian countries where I knew absolutely none of the language. I found this very important, as it's really hard to point at characters that you don't even recognize and say, yeah, bring me one of those. It's very likely that the cuisine will be different enough that you will actually have a really bad day. And that will mean bad filmmaking. Make sure to look up ahead of time at least 1 or 2 things that you can order safely at most any restaurant in the country you're going to. Or at least bring a go bag, some jerky, stuff that will stay, and stuff that won't make you sick. The second thing you'll want to do is make sure you either bring your equipment or have access to equipment in the country that you're going to. In particular, cameras are very important to bring with you, as they can be small in form, but they typically pack a huge punch in terms of cost, especially when you're trying to get access to specific cameras in specific date ranges in specific geographies. You're going to end up very much at the whim of the local rental houses. Ideally, you'll also bring some audio equipment of your own, since that is getting much smaller in form. And maybe you can even bring some lights if you have some of the smallest lights available now. However, typically you're going to need to rent the lights on location or plan to use a lot of natural sunlight. Do not underestimate the usefulness of natural sunlight. It can save you thousands of dollars, especially when you're going abroad for filmmaking. And the third thing is, get very used to whatever form of travel you're going to use in the local country. If that means public transport, get really used to riding the subway or the metro or the tram cars. If it means taking cabs, get really used to not getting scammed or figuring out what the common scams are so that you don't end up paying more than you have to. Whatever it is, make sure to look it up ahead of time. Again, things change quickly when you're on the ground and people are asking for money right now. You never want to be late to a set, missing the shot, or unable to pay your employees just because you didn't know how to get somewhere, how quickly to get there, or even how you're going to pay for it, whether it's card, cash, or something else. And this is a bonus tip, but don't forget to look up how to pay someone in a foreign country. A lot of the time, you can't just use simple methods. Cash will pretty much always work if you can get it out of the ATM, but there are other options like Wise or PaySend that will allow you to send your cash to another bank account, and that will save you a lot of hassle. Because of these methods and a couple of other ways of preparing, I now have a team in Istanbul that I can call on to record interviews, B-roll, or any other type of footage that I need to my specifications, because I was there on the ground working with them. As a result, we've built up trust, they understand the quality of work and the type of framing that I'm looking for, and now we've set up really simple pipelines for paying for the production, sending the files, and overall having a very easy transaction and working together across thousands of miles of distance. As a result, the documentary I'm making will not only be more extensive, but it'll have interviews in Turkish as well, which will make it feel a lot more immersive, and it'll dig deeper into the details that couldn't be achieved in English with these doctors, where English is not their first language. Definitely make friends with the crew while you're there. There's nothing more rewarding to me than after a really fulfilling day on set, being able to connect with the crew and talk about their interests and what they do to wind down at the end of the day. As a result, now I know a lot more about Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Beşiktaş as soccer teams in Istanbul. I also now know that Attack on Titan, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Death Note are favorites over there as they are over here, and that pretty much everyone is a weeb. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so that YouTube knows you like what you saw, and we'll make sure to bring more content to you as soon as possible. Thanks again and have a good one.